Today, later in the service, it is the plan that I will be commissioned as your lay reader by Dean Martin. A mostly voluntary job to help Matt with services, visits, communions, or wherever support is needed. And indeed, a humbling experience. Now let's assume this is the test sermon. So if Matt is not changing his mind after the sermon, it might happen. Just kidding. When I read the bulletin, it seems a lot of fuss about a position like this, but as soon you get involved in pastoral and preaching from the pulpit, the diocese gets involved and the bishop needs to consent with her signature. Other than that, it should be seen equally to any other volunteer position at this church and community. And when we talk about volunteering and doing things for the community, this, our community of Lucan, does a lot for each other, and so does our church. Holy Trinity as a strong partner in this community. And what we do here in this church does have no monetary profit. No, the profits of this community and this church lays alone in teaching the simplicity of God's love and gives space and reflection for our lives. And so when we heard in our readings of the epistle, or the second reading that we call this way, volunteers or full-time positions like Matt's are appointed or chosen to ensure God's word, God's love gets passed on. A minister or priest is appointed for life. Yes, that is a volunteer that dedicates his or her life for God's love. But anyone that can spare time and energy to serve to a part of that love is as important. And what are we trying actually to do? Church is nothing else than talking and celebrating about God's love in many different angles. Actually, it goes back to the 10 Commandments that expressed God's love. God's love that is not a burden, God's love that is not meant, and never has been meant, to be a judgmental love, then rather nothing else than a kind love. That's why God unveiled himself in Jesus to show what that love actually means and how these famous 10 Commandments to be interpreted and so much more. I found that God's love is nothing really difficult, but the issue is ourselves. We people make it complex and difficult. We, for some reason, like to forget about this love in general. The question is, are our lives involving around love and kindness to each other, or what is our life actually involving around? Can we actually name it? We do have sometimes a difficult time to identify that because we shifted our focus and got distracted, and have sometimes such a difficult time to practice love to each other because we do not know how to do it for ourselves even. I myself struggling sometimes with giving love because I get so wrapped up in my own life dealing with issues like everyone else. And over time in my life I realized that I do not let myself be constantly reminded on the true love and faith, and it gets me actually further away from myself of being a good, loving person. And I'm not alone with that. I know that. It is just not something we really think about it. The distractions are so manifold in our lives, which take us away from a more simple life. It is endless. The material we accumulate, the pressure to make enough or more money, that 24/7 running world of doing something, being connected through the wonderful electronics and technology in our world. And not too long ago, I had to change my ways, being notified from this world. I got notified about anything and everything, but perhaps not for the right things. Bing, there is an email in the inbox. Bang, there is a Facebook message. Zoom, there's an email for the work. Click, oh, there is a text message to attend. And ding, dang, dong, there is a deal on eBay. And chirp, 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 there is a WhatsApp message. And there is a loud warning alert sounding that there is a message from the spouse that wants me to distract. That's the one I'm not allowed to ignore. Or whatever, there's lots of that. But where is the notification that we need to shut off and take time for something else? And where is the notification, perhaps with the church bell sounding, that I should do a prayer or a pushing tweet to be a loving person and not just a ball of an anxiety waiting for the next notification? And this is just an example of how we can be distracted. We are also distracted through media that wants us to tell all the next important news. We are often so distracted to recognize God's love because we are getting so wrapped up in making enough money to buy more and maintain what we cherish that we forget what we perhaps should cherish. That is when Jesus tells us last Sunday to get rid of all and follow Him. I add and ask the question, who do we serve in our lives and how do we serve? Are we not splitting the time we serve something into so many parts and masters, into keeping up with all of it, that we do not serve really any? Or we do not serve the cause that we really like to serve, but again so distracted that we do not recognize it. And how much do we give our time to love and passing on love, taking time to groom relationships? For myself, re-evaluating what I'm serving for is ongoing necessary. Job, in our first reading, was real God's servant, living the perfect life, and now lost pretty much everything. He, as a rich man, lost even parts of his family and is sick on his body. Are really the worst case scenario of disastrous life story you ever can think of. And now Job and his friends are frightened, discussing what God has done to him and why. What did I do wrong? Don't we have that all? Why are you doing this to me? I was always good. And God becomes almost angry and says, now in Friedhelm's words, translated to Job and his friends, what do you know about this world? Where were you when I created this world with the evolution? Where were you in these millions of years? And you come to me and complain about your life and want to tell me what I need or should do? You with few little of years that you are on this earth? You telling the creation of God how it should function? What is your knowledge over this world? God asks. Where were you when the world was created and developed until your birth? What are your bases to challenge my love in this world? Who are you that you pollute this world? Who are you that you think you know the love to this world and earth better than actually I? In order to understand love of God, yes, we need to appreciate. We need to appreciate the creation. The creation with all its evolution of the world. We need to appreciate that God created not just the world, but also us, and gives us the opportunity for relationships to each other and pass this love on to each other. It is actually on us to take this offer or leave it. God does not oppose it on us. We have a choice. But in order to have a motivation to do anything we do in our lives, we need to commit. And the commitment comes because we appreciate what we learned, what we know, what we believe in. Our part is that we commit to the love of God, and that we believe that this love is helping us in life, and it is worth to share. It is worth to build, and it is more so worth to use when we are in distress, like Job. We know where to go. When we are in relationship stress, when we are in conflict with our workplace or friends, when we are in battle with addiction as a result of dealing with our issues, when we do not know what we should do in any kind of our situations in life, we perhaps remember that we can turn to that love. And the beauty is that God's love is always present. And even if we forgot it or think, oh, it's so far away from me. No, at that moment we do not think it is far away. It comes as close to us as we cannot imagine. And God is here for us. Again, appreciation can only happen when we give time and thought. When we do not get taught, when we not get reminded, if we have a hard time to appreciate anything. That is why we remember with Thanksgiving, Christmas, Good Friday, and Easter, birthdays, the day our loved one departed, or whatever days that are important to us in our personal lives, because we appreciate what is connected so much. And any day when we do have a service, church service, and appreciate what God has done to us and for us. There are too many everyday stories that wants to keep us away from having even a minute to think about it. Any new drama in this world that someone thinks is a drama and worthwhile to put out there in order to be distracted from our commitments. I am weak for that as well. And so I have to make sure I really appreciate in Thanksgiving, and not just say it. Take the appreciation of life and love and share it. Sometimes we are in environments that really does not give us much room to do and participate in relationship building. But there is the family, the friends, we can do so. And Jesus came exactly for that reason, to share the love and to teach God's love. And when we act with the love of God, we experience the gratification of it. The gratification that comes with it. And we can experience the gratification, the grace of God. For Jesus' gratification came from God in form of nothing can harm you, not even death. That is the perfect one. And in our gospel today, the disciples ask for that gratification. Aren't we looking for the same gratification as well in all what we are doing? But lastly, the gratification in sharing God's word, in sharing this tremendous love and grace, actually live it, is on the end summarized in the peace of God. And the peace is that what we are looking for. As much more time we spend and give and practicing practicing appreciation, love, forgiveness to each other, as more we get peace in our lives. The Lucan community, this church in particular, is a sign of peace. And who is the church? God and we are. We try to appreciate and be a servant to God's love and bring peace to each other. We do it in service or on Wednesday at the turkey supper, a sign of peace. The market would call Holy Trinity's end product peace. But this peace, the inner peace, God's peace, is not marketable. And the market, we know it, and therefore it is not on the famous stock market. It is not something ever we can build on treasures and goods and interest. The peace of God can never become accumulated junk in the basement. It cannot fill our bank accounts. It can only fill our hearts with goodness and love. And that is something that stays with us. Actually, the only thing that stays with us beyond this life. Nothing other than our faith to God can give us peace. Amen.